Hello, folks, and how are you all doing? Welcome to the Pull 10 Books Off the Shelf and Talk About Them tag. Now, this tag was originally created by Sean the Book Maniac, and I found it through Shan's channel from Secondhand Shan, which she changed her channel name back to Secondhand Shan. Before that, it was the Daily Reader. I'll leave links to both of their videos down below. So this tag is pretty self-explanatory and simply brilliant. So we're just gonna start. Okay, so the first book I will talk about, there's 10 here, right? Yes. Is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. I left the bloody dust jacket in the living room. Yeah, I hate dust jackets. Okay, so as I already mentioned in the two videos prior, I've seen quite a few Around the World in 80 Days adaptations in movie form, in animated movie form. And I don't know how many exactly, but I think it's some more than three. I think there's quite a few. After all, it's not a new book. So yes, there's quite a few. But I've never actually read the actual story. And to be honest, until I bought this, I didn't even know Jules Verne was the one who wrote it. I had no idea. So I'm currently on page 34, and it's kind of happening like how the movie. Well, they're gonna have differences, but I wonder how many, because in some I remember a movie where Passepartout looked entirely different than how he was described here. So interesting. I wonder if this counts as cheating, because I did take books from the shelf, from, well, the piles. I also took some of my currently reading piles. Oh well, I hope it's okay. So yes, I'm really enjoying this one. I'm surprised I am. Don't get me wrong, this is an awesome story. It goes around the world in 80 days, and they have to be on time. And I never actually saw Phileas Fogg and this side of his personality. Maybe they just changed it for the movies. That is very interesting, and now I'm finally reading it. So yes, there it is, and it's in that. Where is it? Here it's this publishing house, Macmillan Collectors Library. I think this is the publishing house. Yeah, those editions are really beautiful. Although again, not a fan of hardbacks or dust jackets, or a combination of both. What are you gonna do? So that was the first one. I have no idea if I'm even saying anything right. Again, you kind of just have to talk, but let's continue. Next is Heroes of Olympus, The Demigod Diaries, the #1 bestseller by Rick Riordan. Is a one-time bestseller. So this is a book. Well, as you can tell from the name, it's got pieces of diary from all the kids. Now, I've only read the first two Percy Jackson books, and that was some years back. I read the first one this year, and I still haven't gotten to the second one. I hope I will soon. I do want to finish that series and see what happens. At least so far, I do. I don't know. Maybe later on, I'm like, this is not for me. So, I actually bought this on an impulse. Again, don't like hardcovers. But we were in a mall, and I was left in the bookstore, one of my favorite places. I looked at all sorts of books they had on sale, and this was part of it. And I was like, oh, interesting. No, Rick Riordan. I was curious what it was about. I was like, let's take it. Because in Israel, you're not going to find a lot of books on the shelf. So if you find something that's really interesting, or probably you're not going to find anywhere else, grab it. because you'll not have a second chance. So I took it, and then it's kind of, oh, I can't really read this at the moment. I don't want spoilers for future series, because I think there's more in here. Yeah, there's more books, and I don't know. These are just the diaries of the Percy Jackson series. I know Rick Riordan has a lot more series out there. There's Magnus Chase now. Interesting. Well, I'm probably gonna get to this at some point. I don't know when, to be honest. Or even if I had. Again, this was an impulse buy. Maybe I will, just even if I don't want to read the series, I'll just go into this. Fuck the spoilers. I gotta say, though, the color is nice, and I like the staff with the snakes. If it is, in fact, a staff. Okay. Next. Let me just see how it's called in English. So the translation. Vampire of the Mists by by Christy Golden. This is the Hebrew translation. I found this in the secondhand store. We were a bit in a hurry to leave, and then I just saw this vampire dark cover. Let's go. I don't need any more than that. So this is it's from a series, or from those who wrote actually I don't know what series this is. This is the Hebrew translation, doesn't really say. And again, vampire fantasy, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm going to read this at some point, though I should probably check what part this is. I really wish they'd start putting numbers on these, because then you're like, did I get the correct one? But they don't. They just don't. Not on all of them, at least. So I would really appreciate numbers. So that is it. I don't know much what to say about this. The vampire's bloody cool. Look at him. And yeah, I just kind of grabbed it. I probably, I could be in a bookstore and I'd see a cover. There's a vampire, mouth open, fangs out, blood everywhere. Regardless of the synopsis, I'd probably take that. I would. I'd be like, this could be potentially something I won't find interesting. But the cover, that cover I would be sold. And we have this one. Should speed up. We're only on the on the third one. It's already been 8 minutes. I'm boring you to tears. Next, we have Les Mis. Don't ask me to pronounce that. I tried a lot of times. Les Mis. I can't. I need to practice that with someone who knows French. By Victor Hugo, Volume 2. Now, I have heard of this a lot. I know there's a play. No, not a play. There's a movie, right, with Hugh Jackman. I saw a bit of it. I wasn't too engaged in it. There was singing. I'm not that huge fan of musicals. I was like, let's try reading this. Emphasis on try to read this. And so I saw it in the store. I got it, and only when I came home I realized it was Volume 2. So I'm assuming that means they split the book in half and sold it in 2 volumes. So I, yeah, bound in 2 novels. So either I'm gonna find the whole full thing, or I'm gonna try to look for the second volume. I don't know. I gotta say, the picture of the girl is cool. I think it's the one that the Hugh Jackman in the movie took her in and adopted her. Ugh, never mind. So yes, I have this one. I'll probably just exchange it or donate it. Okay, next we have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. One of my favorite Neil Gaiman books. I loved this. It was so awesome reading about nobody's life in the graveyard. This was inspired by the Jungle Book. Oh, and the artist is awesome. Look at his drawings. This was inspired by the Jungle Book. As Neil Gaiman said, I don't remember if it was here or somewhere else. But he did say it somewhere. It was, and if it was that, then it was the Jungle Book version that fitted me. I like animals and nature, but a graveyard is more fetching for me. So this was awesome. And I kind of got the idea of the Jungle Book. But I'll still read the Jungle Book one day, probably. So I really love this, and I think next Halloween, next year, I'm going to reread this again in the spirit of the holiday. Yes. Oh, and I also want to find the graphic novel. There's a graphic novel. I want to find it and see what they did there with the art. Okay. Oh, wait. Make some room, guys. Next, we have The Secret Diary of Hendrik Garon, 83 years old. Well, he's the author. So this one is also one I'm currently reading. I'm almost halfway through, just a bit more left. And I'm loving this a lot. I got it as a gift from one of my best friends. I started reading it for him the Emoji-a-thon, didn't finish, naturally. Next round I'm gonna get it. But yes, and I love this. I find it so fascinating, all the stories he tells, and this is real. This is supposedly real, based on real life. Well, life is stranger than fiction, they say. I really want to find out if this is real. I mean, I'm not. In a way, is it like supposedly this is really the author? He's really that old, but he just wrote his story fictionally. Or this is actually his diary, because there's no picture of him anywhere. There's a drawing, but no picture. So I don't know. I'm going to investigate after I finish, because when I tried looking up, there was a lot of reviews, and I didn't want any of those. So yes, and then the cover is cute. Oh, and look at the fish. Now I know what the fish mean. Not telling. Read the book. But now I know what the fish mean. Okay, next we have The Alchemist by Mitchell Scott. A name I can finally properly pronounce. Now this is, this I also just grabbed from from the shelf and just bought it. No, of course I read the back and I was like, oh, interesting. Numbers. This has big numbers on the side. I love this series already. I just started it. One second. Hi. Is it working? I never did this before. I just paused and continued. Well, anyway, I hope this works together. If not, I'll probably just start refilming the whole thing again. Where was I? Oh, yes. It has numbers. I love that. I love the series already. I mean, at least I love the fact about the numbers. So if I do love the first book and I want to continue, it's not going to be a problem to find the next. So they're on the back. I love the design of this, really. It's very nice. I was also going to read this for the Emoji-a-thon. Maybe I'll get to it soon. Right, next. Next, I have The Heir of George R.R. Martin. And his name is Scott Leinich. I probably botched that. The Lies of Luke Lamora. This is the first book in the series, The Gentleman Bastards. I'm saying he's not actually his son. Don't go spreading that. Just this guy writes very similar to George R. R. Martin. I mean, in details. There's so many details. You're swamped with details. At least that's how I feel. But it's a really interesting story and it's dark, which I love a lot. You see, there's even a blurb, I think, by George R. R. Martin. No, this is a really good story, but again, it's so many details. It's like when I attempted to read Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. I was, well, at least in here there's less characters, so I don't feel like I'm drowning in who's who. But yes, enjoying this one. And the cover. This cover is so beautiful. Look at that. That's awesome. It's a little different though than what I thought it would be when I first saw it. I just saw it in the store and then I read the back and I was like, ah, that sounds good. It's a little different than I imagined. Right, let's go. We have 2 more books down. I'm already boring you and I have a feeling no one's gonna really want to watch this. Fuck me, 16 minutes. Okay, next is City of Bones by Cassandra Clary. The, why do I keep forgetting how this, the Mortal Instruments? Yes, so this one I also bought recently. Don't remember where exactly, just grabbed it. It's like, I want to try this series again. I read only the first 4 books. My math skills are shit. For the first 4 books, and then kind of didn't continue from there. And now I want to retry it again, see if I like it or if it's time I move on. She does have other books, although they are connected. Except maybe the newer ones. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to see if I like it again. Like I said, I do love this cover though. There's something I found yesterday as I was browsing through this. Look, I was like, I have to show this if I remember. There's a map and pictures of all the places in the book. It was so awesome. I do wonder, is there like already a graphic novel series on this? I would imagine there would be. I gotta check that out. But yes, there's this one. That is it. I don't have anything else to say about it. I'll have to see if I like it again or if it's time we part ways. And last but by no means least, and bloody hell, almost 20 minutes. Tunnels by Roderick Gordon and Brian Williams. Now, this is a book that I really, really love. This is actually the original copy I had. You see how filthy it is? That's a testament of the time where I didn't give a shit about my books. I would put them anywhere and all that. I'm horrified at myself for not at least putting them somewhere clean. But you know, it doesn't matter. I started this, I think I was, 14? Something like that, maybe 15. The first time I've ever read this. And I really loved it. And then after a while, I read it again because I had what I thought was the second book, which was apparently the 4th one. I finished reading that. I was like, wow, the authors skipped through a lot of stuff in the book and the story. It's like, damn, a lot happened. Why did they skip so much? And then I found out. Yeah. I was like, fuck me, not again. Because I already had an incident where I started a series on the 3rd book. And I only realized halfway through. That was fun. And so I love tunnels. I love how dark this fantasy is. And you got this underworld and all that, but it's not, the goofy fun stuff. It's the really evil stuff. I love this. I'm starting to get more drawn to these as time goes by. I still love the cuter fantasies, but definitely loving these more now. And this cover. This cover is amazing. Look at that. Got a dog in the dark city, and it's green. I love that. So, I guess that is it. And I really had to finish this tag. I don't know if this is what I was supposed to tell you about these books or not. But anyway, honestly, who knows if this video is even gonna appear. Because, I don't know if it worked. Well, anyway, I do hope that it worked and that it will appear. Although I doubt any of you will watch it. It's 20 minutes. Right, so if any of you do watch this, and by some miracle, I'm gonna tag some people. I don't really know. I'm gonna tag you if you already did this. Just ignore. I'm gonna tag Michael from the Catalyst Reads, Paperback Junkie. Who else? Todd the Librarian. Melissa from Melissa and Barnesy Reads. Liko from Liko Loves Books. Kat at Booksend, and whoever you are that's currently watching this video, consider yourself tagged. So that is it, folks. Let's hope this video gets up. Bye.